Hello, everyone. How are you doing? I hope you are all having a good summer. Although, as soon as I said summer, then I realized in my description too, I said summer, and then I did not take into account some of you could be based in the southern hemisphere, so you are in the middle of winter. Well, wherever you are, either you are in the middle of summer. I hope it isn't way too hot, and then if you're in the winter, I hope it isn't way too cold. Anyway, let me know too if there's like an echo because I'm noticing that somehow after this OBS update, and I heard from another colleague too, he is also noticing some echo. And I'm just like noticing it right now. So anyway, if you notice, let me know. And also, you might notice, well, the reason, right, on my Discord, I was explaining that I was actually, earlier when I was on travel, then I thought I could do a stream. But then, with my phone, I realized it's not easy to do. I'm not sure if some of you might have do it directly on your phone, maybe. Well, actually, you know what? It looks like what happened is my green screen, because it's actually quite hot, so I turn on the fan. So I think the fan is like blowing my green screen. So you see something like flickering. Anyway, okay, so when I was traveling, I thought, well, I could do a stream, and then a friend of mine actually suggested me using my phone to do it, and I have Android phone, so I tried to do a live stream using my phone, my Twitch app. However, that was actually at DevOps Poland, so like a month ago, and it's actually with Daniel too. If you kind of recall, if you were here with Daniel O, the advocate tech product manager from Red Hat, right? So he was saying that you should do it like, using my phone. So I said, okay, cool. But I actually don't have that one, the video stick. But so I was holding it. But the weird thing was, and I'm not sure why, maybe it's only happening on the app. And I tried to do live stream. I think as soon as I started it, it just couldn't sustain, and then there was no recording. And I also don't think it ever got to the server, so it didn't actually kicked into effect that stream. But in any event, then I'm noticing that then it was just strange. So anyway, and I don't think I was able to do it. Anyway, it's somebody saying something. Oh, there's a bunch of notifications. Okay, it's something else. So anyway, it's just too many things distracting me these days. So I couldn't try out using my phone, and then I obviously would like to have one of those stick to. I think will help if I go to conferences. If you want to actually have me do it too, let me know. From conferences, let me know on my Discord server. And again, let me post my Discord server. I'm not sure if anybody's here, but yeah, so that's my Discord server. If you are new here, if you'd like to join me, that's my Discord server. Then you can communicate with me too even if I'm not streaming, right? So let me know if you'd like me to do some live, kind of from conference stream. So then you can take a look to see what conferences are like. Now, talking about conferences, before I forget, I was in a couple of European-based conferences, and those were wonderful, like Spring I/O in Barcelona, or DevOps Poland in Krakow, and also Vox Days Zurich in Switzerland. And also, where was I? I was in Barcelona again, for JBCN, which is the Barcelona Java Users Group. It was wonderful experience. And then I was also in a couple others, right? So they were really packed. Well, I shouldn't say that all packed with people, considering like a post-COVID, post-pandemic conference. I think all those, they actually had a good number of participants, more so than I think by the wind blowing. Actually, there's a thunderstorm warning in here too, so the wind is blowing. But in any event, so lots of people, but here in the US, right, I was just at this conference last week. My company, DataStax, was a sponsor for the New York City API Day. So it's kind of an API focused kind of conference, not like specific to Java or anything. And that one actually, it was actually a great conference, but then there weren't that many people on site. And I think they were projecting, they were hoping like in the middle of New York City and Wall Street, but turns out that it was maybe about 300, they said. And then there were actually more people. I think I shared with you too on my Discord channel and online, maybe because online conference is kind of free. So there were more people, like 500 or something. So it was good. But so I don't know if any of you have joined there online, and I think they will be publishing the videos as well. Anyway, so it was a great conference too, even though not like packed, but it was a good kind of and very high engagement conference. So that was good. But anyway, then we are actually going to have jcon.dev, Java. It's actually, they call it, well, the nickname is Deep Dish Java. Now, if you're familiar with Chicago, Chicago is famous for its pizza, which is a special kind. It's called deep dish, which actually you have very thick crust, right? And crust that basically one slice of pizza will fill you up, immediately. So let's kind of take a look, and I'll tell you which ones I love. So this one called Luminalities. I'll just show it to you, right? So, okay, let me kind of shrink myself because that I'm blocking from seeing things. So, all right, so, okay, let me I'm shrunk. And so here we go. Luminalities is one of my favorite. Look at that. See how thick it is, It's really Chicago's legendary deep dish, right? So look at that, it's really thick. This one doesn't appear to be way too thick. I think there are some that are really, really thick. This one, ooh, this is, they have a bunch of new stuff, it looks like. But anyway, so look at that, right? So the crust is apparently really, really thick. And why am I not seeing, let me start online order. So as you can see, right? Okay. So these are like really, really thick. And then they also have thin, but the thin one is actually quite good too. Don't get me wrong. I actually enjoy the thin one, even though occasionally when I go there, I like a thick one. Yeah, so anyway, so let me see. Well, wait a second. I think is my audio okay? Actually, let me kind of double check. Okay, it is. Okay. So just don't want to like all of a sudden talk and realize I actually am not, my voice didn't get through. So, okay, so that's that. So I guess this is it kind of sidetrack, right? So let's kind of go to this. This is called jcon.dev. So, I mean, as such, right, it's not, I don't actually do this one. And it's actually, if you go to jcon.dev, let me share with you too. Oops, let me kind of go back here. So the conference is called jconf, https, jcon.dev. And so it's over there. So if I share with you, right? So jcon.dev. So this is the one that you're welcome to come if you're in Chicago. I was actually hoping to see the organizers being able to also live stream, but I think they are not able to find help out. Although I may actually suggest, because for my Chicago Java users group, I have someone who's helpful. His name is Che. He's been wonderful, but he's a quiet person. He doesn't come out to talk. He's more like a behind the scenes and helping out a lot. He's the one that's kind of the most committed and helping me. So anyway, but just some side information. So he actually will be able to help, and I wanted to suggest that if he can help with live stream, maybe like the keynote or something, then everybody can watch it too. But in any event, if you are in Chicago, please do consider joining. And there are also discount too, for like group discount too. So let me know, right? And you know how to get a hold of me. And again, if you go back, right, my Discord server, just ping me there, message me there if you want any group discount. Because again, right, it's not a Chicago-based conference, but it's just that the Atlanta Java Users Group folks, Pratik and Vincent, their names, and good friends, and they wanted to basically they run the DevNexus conference. If you are familiar, right, there's also DevNexus. So, and DevNexus is a big really big Java conference, and they just had it in April. I think they had about like 1,500 people, so that's not too bad. We are hoping that the Java this JConf in Chicago would slowly get bigger. We want to spread the word too. So as you can see, will be at the University of Illinois Chicago campus, called Doran Forum, which is like the auditorium, and it's close to downtown Chicago. It's roughly, if you walk there, it's just a mile. So a mile, I think, is what, like 2.2 kilometers, so not far. And it would be in September 26 to 28. Usually it's a good time of year. Before the cold weather come in, it's still warm, not too cold, right? And in fact, it can be quite pleasant at that time. So please do consider joining if you are there. Again, I was sharing with you, right? Let me kind of show again, jconf.dev. So consider that, and kind of let's take a look too. I myself will be speaking there, but as such, I'm also on the program committee. Now, as you can see, actually, I told Pratik, I said, it's not me, the primary person running this workshop, building an e-commerce service backend with NoSQL. As you may be aware, right, DataStax is a company that specializes in, it's actually, I should say, the flagship product is actually based on Cassandra. And we have Astra DB, which if you have been following me, watching this, you know that there's the Astra DB managed cloud platform for Cassandra. So we have NoSQL, and I have my expert, my good friend, colleague, Aaron will be there. And also Rex, who's also a seasoned Java and other areas advocate too. So he'll be there. So three of us will be running this workshop. And I myself too will be helping mostly on the part when we talk about event streaming. Now, event streaming using Apache Pulsar. Now, the thing is too, is that, we are building complex systems. We're not just using one technology, as we all know. We're using front end, back end, all these things, and even back end, even front end. We're using multiple things to make things happen. And so anyway, so the back end has NoSQL, has also the authentication using OAuth 2. And also, is it OAuth 2? Let me kind of make sure too. I think it is, yeah, because the security part is, OAuth. So Spring Boot, right? Java Spring Boot app and OAuth, and also distributed database Cassandra, Astra DB, and also our cloud native streaming platform, which is Pulsar. So as you can see, it should actually be quite interesting. So do consider joining us if you can, if you're in Chicago. I think it should be good, and will be fun too to see people, right? So I'm trying to kind of tell folks, here in the US, I know we're kind of spread all over, but it's just fun to have in-person events again, right? So as you can see too, there are also Christopher Judd. He's a great guy based in Columbus, Ohio. He's with the Columbus Java Users Group. He'll be also doing something on hacking and hardening Java web app workshop. And Daniel Hinojosa, and he actually he does more of Java design patterns and functional. Well, he's actually does a whole bunch of stuff, but still kind of focus on Java. And then also Josh, everybody knows Josh. I hope if you're working with Spring, then you know him. He's the most kind of popular, I'd say. Well, everybody is great too on the Spring advocacy team, but he's been there the longest, I think. I think he's the longest. He's at like 12 years or something. So Josh will be here. He'll be doing Kubernetes, native Java. And also, of course, everybody knows Venkat. He's really an inspirational person. So much respect for him, and wonderful human being. And he'll be talking about software design. And of course, with Venkat, you just you get inspired. He's just a legend. I just love this guy. So everybody likes him. It's just so nice, so smart, so humble at the same time. So I think we should all be striving towards that. Don't be judgmental. Everybody has our strength, has our weaknesses, whatever it is, but we work together to make something happen, right? So, okay, so as such, JConf isn't all free, but the thing is that you can try to see if your company can sponsor you if you can, right? These are the pricing in US dollar, and there's also a FUJay Day add-on ticket too. So it's an extra full day of sessions on September 26th. And this one, FUJay, as you know, right? FUJay.io is the Java public used to be java.net, but now this is the sharing platform for everybody. Actually, I need to be writing some writing some more articles for them. But Fuji.io. So Fuji, right? So here we go. So Fuji, great Java information, and if you want to visit that too, okay, let me kind of highlight and then kind of give that to you again. And what else? Wait, and then let me see. Fuji.io. So Fuji.io. So kind of also visit that too. If you want to know more about, let me accept all cookies. If you want to know more about Java, and it's just very up to date, right? And that's the issue right now. I find, the internet is just like full of things. I mean, we know that there are a couple of really good sites, right? Like for example, Javan Paul. If you're following him, right, he's really great too. Let me see. I think he's also a contributor in this particular site. I mean, why wouldn't he, right? So, and anyway, let me see who else do they list off the writers here. Hub. Okay, let's kind of go here. Let's go here. Oh, actually, you know what? Let's go over here. I think he's still the site manager still leave is still leaving me as the one of the contributor, and I really need to be getting busy. But the thing is, though, being an advocate, like I said, right, it sounds more fun than I should say. It is fun. You have to. It's just so much sacrifice. I mean, the thing is, on today too, I'm supposed to have a day off, and guess what? I'm actually on this stream. But the thing is, I really like my community, and even though nobody's watching live, I just wanted to touch base with you. I think it's good. And let me see about. Let me kind of go over here. Community Hub about Fuji. Okay, okay, all of these things, right? And I thought there is like a page where they have. Let me see. Let's go back to the main thing. View all articles. I think that's it. This is the article page. That's guess what? They still have me as the featured author. So I wrote an article back in January, I think. And like that, right? So they still have it on, but which means I need to be doing something more. So look at that. We actually have Apache Cassandra. We have all kinds to Nicola. Nicola, if you know him too, he's the Apache API 6. He was just in New York City. I just saw him too. Shai Almok, he's with this company called Light Run. They're kind of doing like more tooling side, right? Kind of fancy tooling side. And yeah, I kind of call it fancy, but all these two, I mean, a couple of people are actually really good, like Patrick McFadden too. He's our Apache Cassandra and developer, like kind of a executive level developer relations at my company now. Great guy, very inspirational too. So he writes a lot too about Apache Cassandra, and also actually he wrote about why developers should use Apache Pulsar. That is so interesting. I did not even know. I think he wrote this. That's cool. So yeah, I know too. Sometimes if we read this, right, they can be a little bit on the more high level side, but still good, right? We learn kind of like the general understanding of it too. So anyway, so a whole bunch of stuff. So please visit them, and like I said, all the information would be more up to date. Now the thing it is true, I don't know if actually they have tutorials. Oh yeah, they do actually. This is funny, right? Every time that's why I like doing the stream, because when I'm showing you things, it forces me to really step through and know everything and understand it before I actually say it, right? Or at the moment before I say it. So as you can see, there are some tutorials too, but it seems like Shai is writing a lot of stuff. And then there's Jalal with Azure tooling. And Peter Humphrey is also our developer relations manager in my company. So he's writing a lot too about Apache Cassandra. I need to do something. Okay, so at some point I will. So Gail, great friend of mine based in San Diego, I think do they actually, I don't know, actually they're in LA. So, but they're Californians. So great people. Carl is with Azul, a senior developer advocate. And yeah, so a couple of them have been very good. And Helen, amazing, isn't she? She is at IntelliJ, and so she's a Java developer advocate at JetBrains, and she is really funny. I just saw her at JBCN. And okay, so go to Discord if you want to chat. I'll tell you, she's just really funny, cracks me up. So really good bunch of people. So check us out. Okay, and enough of these information. I talk about community, talk about Fuji today, and let me then unhide and hide. Okay, let me okay, go back. So this is my Discord server if you want to stay in touch, right? And okay, so that's it. And then let me kind of make sure to I am monitoring myself so that I make sure it's not like I am you know, well, actually it's funny too. I sometimes trying to monitor myself using my other my other MacBook. So just to want to make sure, I don't kind of like look, sometimes it's funny too. I feel like a one person show, right? You're trying to be politically correct. So I have to be monitoring, I have to doing the production and everything. I feel like I'm not really, obviously I'm not perfect, but I just do it anyway. And then do it for the community, right? And also for me too, it is good because then it gets me kind of organized. Otherwise, too, I'm like all over the place. As developer advocates, I do outreach work, do presentations, but as you can imagine, right, quite busy. And now at my job too, I'm not just a developer advocate. Now, back then when I was at IBM, it was more about me being, kind of like what you call it, like really focusing on the community, right? It's a bit more like that. I mean, granted, right? IBM is a huge company, so it's kind of everybody's job can be a bit more specialized. You're only focusing on mostly your area. I'm not just talking about say writing Java code. It's more about okay, I was advocating for Java at the time. So yeah, I was talking more about reactive systems, which actually intersect very well with event driven. That's why I think it kind of lends itself, I'm kind of now doing event streaming. I think it's an area that I really like. Even before I started doing reactive, when they first asked me, I was like, okay, that's great. I just like to do event driven stuff. And to me, I find it interesting. Anyway, so okay, I keep kind of like diverting, but that's the nature, right? Of advocates, we do everything. That's what I'm trying to say. And then as advocates too, strictly speaking, we are interacting with you. I mean, assuming most of you, or at least most of you in the audience, you're developers. So, and we all know, right? Developers are kind of a different. We have kind of a different thing. Fu Snapple! Oh, I just see you. Project Loom, help event-driven programming. Great question, Fu Snapple. Let me kind of do this. This is the Fu Snapple question. And I think the thing is I feel that it would even hello so I feel that and that's actually a topic that I want to explore more into because it's funny, right? I think we like to it's kind of natural. We like to kind of use some certain labels to describe that category or context stuff, and so we call it reactive. And Project Loom isn't quite strictly reactive, but it is definitely because it deals with like virtual threads and just more efficient, right? And essentially, too, I think the common point is event driven and reactive. Reactive leverages on event driven, that kind of technique. To me, I find, okay, so I've been trying to think that, okay, in the industry, maybe for marketing purpose, people said reactive systems, but the thing is, there's definitely that event driven side of things, like event streaming. And then I'm explaining because even initially when I did started doing this too, I find it a bit confusing. There's event messaging, event streaming, there's event driven architecture, all these things. They seem to be about the same thing, but the thing is though they have subtle differences between them, right? And so to me, I find that reactive is a higher level, more abstract, but it leverages on all of these event driven event, messaging, streaming, all of these. To me, the event part is more like, it itself, but we have measures to enable events, to happen. Events as such, right, is something that occurs, in time. We need to react to it, that type of stuff. So we have different ways of dealing with, how do we transport the data? What kind of format is your data? You need to do messaging, data transformation, filtering, remediation, all these things that needs to happen. That's more event and all these things. But the reactive is a bit more abstract. It goes about. So anyway, to answer your question, Project Loom, I believe that it would help event-driven programming. It would. definitely. And through Project Loom, again, it deals more with the mechanical side of things, right? It's kind of making these kind of fine details, of the of events, kind of a movement, or what you call programming, right? Programming, all of these, more like the side, not to say it's boring, but it's complex too. That mechanical side things more capable. I think it's just like it brings together the hardware becoming, the multi-core, the multi-processes, virtualization, all of these things is basically we're maximizing those capabilities on the software side to make things happen. So I think that's just my interpretation in kind of a mumbo jumbo way, so to speak, kind of more like, okay, as you ask me, I'm thinking about it. And thank you for asking too. It will be interesting. Let me see. So let's see. So Fusnabo, you're saying it will be interesting to see how it pans out, as it's a different approach than the more common async await. Yes, totally. I think because we're kind of talking about virtual threads, right? Let me see. Actually, they have, maybe I bet, over here too. I think we have Ron Pressler from Oracle. I bet that was would be from him. Oh, there are a couple people too writing. If you search for Project Loom on this site, right? And I think so. So definitely too. I think it will be definitely a different approach. I think is probably, it just gets more into it. I think, it's virtual threats, right? Miro, I don't know this person. I think I must have met him before too. These are great people who wrote it, and but these are a little bit shy. Did something on 2022. Oh, a couple of older ones, but interesting too is that Jaden, who I just saw at JBCN, so he's with Payara, right? That project, more of the manager for the community, right? And I didn't know he wrote about it in 2020, but a bunch of people also wrote about this too, and just earlier this year. It's still kind of dealing with Java concurrency, all of these things, right? And Nick, oh, it's Visual Studio. I don't know why they. Oh, okay. So maybe if it's tagged with it, it will show in here. But essentially, yes, it's concurrency and how it compares, right, with other things. All of these, yeah, that's cool. Not like a whole lot of different articles yet, but certainly too. And I was gonna say, right, if you search for project look, actually, what is it? Okay, let me take a look too. Oh, so this is not too old too. Oops, don't like these ads, and so okay. So all of these two introduces, yeah, lightweight efficient virtual threads called fibers. So so basically it's a thread abstraction, but certainly too, I think if you kind of get more into it, right, and I do believe it will be interesting. Um, and if you like, right, I can try to look for someone who here. Maybe, you know what? Let's go back to here, right? All these people like Nicolas. I can ask him too. He's based in France, right? And I just recently saw him. I'm sure, if you like, I can ask him to come and we can have a chat about it too. And then Shy, I haven't met him, but actually on on social media, I kind of saw him a lot, and he liked my tweet, or I like his tweet, kind of thing. So all these folks, I don't know some of these folks, but Ari and Jürgen, who is like the Fuji manager, right, from Azul, I can ask them. But those are like about virtual Fuji tour. But the thing is, Basler too, I can ask him too. He's based in, I think, India or Sri Lanka or something. So I can ask these guys to come and we can have a chat too, maybe, right? How about that, Fustabo? Would you like? Would it be helpful too? And I feel like, well, I myself would like to know more about it, but it's just that not having enough time to, yeah, I always blame it. But anyway, I need to find time. So okay, so here we go. So that's about Project Loom. Thank you for asking all those questions too. So okay, so and that's kind of a and what else would be of interest to you, right? So I talked about the JConf conference, and like I said, there are a bunch of other JConf. Let's go back to the conferences. So if you're in Chicago, please consider joining us, right? And like I said, if there are specific ones you find that you would like to see, I'm going to try to see if we can actually live stream some of these too, if we can. And on our Chicago Java users group, our video person will be there to help. So if if we can have the setup there, we can certainly do something. So try to find something from here, and also tell me too, what topics do you think you're interested in? Like for me, I seem like I've been going to conferences so much, right? I'm kind of like looking at all these topics. It almost seems as though, okay, I kind of know them, but I don't admit that I know them in very much a lot of depth, other than the fact that, okay, we've been talked about, right? Some of the key points, I'm aware of it, but I'm just kind of curious too. Folks like yourself who are, working on real life projects, and you may not be, using all sorts of, that are kind of like approaches that we're talking about in conferences, different things, because you also have you can have very specific use cases that you are actually creating, using a combination of tooling to create your solutions. So actually, those are the kind of things I would like to know myself. Because the thing is too, I worked on projects too, but I'm kind of thinking too that funny because I became a software or developer advocate like about 4 or 5 years ago, and then since then I have to admit that I have not been doing much of like production work. So I don't feel I can speak for what it is like in today's, kind of technological climate, right? What are folks like yourself are using, right? And I know Fusnabo, you've been very good, sharing too with me when you were using Kafka and you were using Ivan, that particular, kind of, what you call it, the platform to do your stuff. So, oh, you're saying some more thing too. Yeah, we'll each. Okay, you're saying something too. Okay, and anyway, let me kind of finish my sentence. So, Fusnabo, I was just going to say, if you have anything, you want to suggest, right, about in your real life example, working on certain projects that you have, would there be topics that you would like to hear more about, right? So then I can also kind of bring it back, right? Let's say to, if it is relevant that we can do it, my team, we can kind of do talks on those too. So, okay, let's see. Let me go to your question now. So, and Fusabo said, okay, now we go back to Project Loom. Will each virtual thread has a call stack? Good question. I cannot answer that for you right now, but let's kind of take a look, right? Isn't it like Project Loom? Virtual thread having its own call stack, something like that, right? I think we can kind of go take a look too. Oh, these might be good, right? Going inside the Project Loom and see what the call stack is like. So this one is written by Ben Evans, and yeah, this is very good too. This might be good for me to also share with you if you want to read about, and then we can also get. Let me kind of share in here. So, and so this one is the one, right? So it's also on the chat there, so you can also click on it to see. But okay, now it's blocking myself, but it looks like it will be good to, if actually interesting too, if each virtual thread has its own call stack, then how are they going to, like, is essentially two, if they're each, kind of like small kind of threads that they have sharing of variables. So I think that would be our next question, right? So, okay, so I will just, I'll hide this now. So then I can kind of go back to how does it interact with kernel objects like semaphores? Yeah, that would be, that was actually, that's why I looked for your question, because I saw that you were asking about semaphores. Certainly too, I think because virtual threads is a bit, it's not on the on kernel level, right? It's not on the OS kernel level, and so it interacts too with some services from kernel objects, I think. I believe that's what it is. But that's why too I thought, okay, let me share with you this article. Let me also read up about that, right? And yeah, so it's kind of basically Java threats not tied to operating system threats. So that's a very good question. You know what I'll do, Fusnabo, and you give me idea. Let me see. It looks actually like Shy over here, right? Shy has written a lot more. He's again with Lightrun, advocate of Lightrun, right? So, and he definitely seemed like he has spent quite a lot of time writing up about threats and about the Project Loom concurrency type of thing. And then yeah, then deadlocks and race conditions, all of these things, right? Oh yes, you know why? Because Lightrun, now I remember, because I saw the company, and they basically, Lightrun is a tooling, but the tooling is for really getting into code because it helps with debugging, a lot of debugging threads and breakpoints, right? Like over here, for example. So he'll probably be a good person for me to invite in asynchronous debugging. Uh, that might be good too. What do you think? Let me kind of get him here. Let me see if he can join. I think he's based in Israel actually. So if I do something, I have to make sure I start a bit earlier so it won't be like as late for him. Okay, so Fusnabo, you also said, oh yeah, so you're saying Ivan was a Kafka provider. Yeah, that's right. So tell me something, right? Ivan is actually quite interesting because I actually met another speaker from Ivan. She was actually at JBCN, and then I met her at some other conferences. I don't know if you follow Fusnabo, but anyway, she's good, but she's not only talking about Kafka, but and then I realized that she was talking more about the data, something on data science. Then I realized, oh, Ivan is actually more like a platform that they are building, right? That they can actually be interacting with multiple products too. So let's go over to Ivan too, because I'm finding it so interesting. They're just like way too many things these days. It's what, after all, it is. So data infrastructure made simple. Okay, allow, that's fine. So data infrastructure. Okay, so it's fully managed open source cloud data platform. Yeah, so they're actually more about data, which is kind of interesting because for a while too, you told me, right? Oh yeah, and Kafka. I think they're not only working with Kafka, right? They Ivan for Apache Kafka, Ivan for Apache Kafka Connect, and then there's also Mirror Maker and all these things. But that's the interesting thing. Ivan still hasn't worked with Pulsar, but of course too, I'm sure if they need to work with any open source project, they probably will need to have more kind of legal thing to deal with too. But then as such, right, they also have like a platform for Apache Flink and some of the Kafka specific features in Kafka too. But Kafka also has Kafka Stream, which it isn't working with. I myself have to admit that I need to kind of, kind of understand it better too, or kind of the really subtle differences, right? Because Kafka itself is not a true cloud native type of streaming platform, primarily too because it was designed kind of to it takes care of mostly distributed messaging, the log messages that are being in the PubSub kind of scenario. It does all the manages all of the PubSub, the broker, everything. But at the same time, too, what do you do with those messages, right? So and Kafka manages those log messages itself, the distributed messages, and actually it gets quite messy, right? If you can see, right, if I'm doing an IoT applications, I can have tons of messages, so I have to manage it. So well, not Ivan, but Kafka will manage that, and basically these platforms are essentially launched onto a cloud, right? Some kind of cloud platform, right? So Ivan, is it equivalent of Confluent? Would you say? Full Snapple? I'm actually not well. Actually, you know what? Hide. Okay, let me hide it now. Okay, so you were saying that is a mostly interested in Loom and how it would impact an IO heavy program. Okay, that's very cool. Thank you for giving me that input, Futsnabble. I think, like I said, let me see if I can get Shy to join maybe on my stream, even just have him talk about it. I think will be good. Like I said, he spent a significant amount of time. He has written a couple of articles on that, and his Light Run project is actually very much heavily involved with all of these IO data intensive like IO type of scenario. I'm sure. So great, really appreciate your suggestion. So okay, let me see. Let me make sure. Oh, so it's multiple service like InfluxDB. Okay, so over here, right? So let's look at all of these. So Ivan also for M3, and then M3 aggregator for Apache Cassandra. Oh, it actually works with Cassandra. So that is very interesting. But it's interesting though. At my company, I haven't heard them. Well, although I should say, well, it's almost seems like then there must be, equivalent of what Astra DB is trying to do too. But it's Ivan. So they do it Kafka and Cassandra, but not Pulsar yet. Now, as I mentioned, right, Kafka is not so much kind of in kind of it was built or designed at the time before the cloud became the major thing, right? It was back in 2000, I guess 10 or something. So just at the beginning of all this cloud revolution, but it didn't pay as much attention to doing all the cloud, but it focuses more on the messaging side. Now, as the cloud is maturing, as we know, cloud computing is a different brings things to a different level. And so that's when like Apache Pulsar became kind of like a rising up, if you can say, right? But I guess we live in an evolutionary world. Everything is evolving, right? So it's not like it's bad or something, but Kafka was good at the time. It is still good, but the thing is too, with the way the environment, everything's changing, we have more cloud, more complex, then Kafka becomes harder to scale. Kafka it is what also is the issue that I've been hearing, right? And maybe Fusnabo too, you are you or did you, right, when at the time when you worked on Ivan, did you try to also tackle problems, what to do, right, when that, or does Ivan handle like cloud native kind of configuration well? Because what about, right, if you are in Kafka by default, right, Kafka doesn't scale too well. So if you all of your topics, right, your if folks, if you are familiar, right, publish, subscribe, basically we publish data to to the broker, and you label all of your different messages, label it and call it your topic, right? Different topics, and that's how you organize it. But the topics can be spread out, right, into different brokers, or they're partitioned off and all of these things. So it gets complicated. Now, in a cloud environment, if you add another cluster or even another node, to your cluster, it's going to kind of like throw some things off balance. So then, that's the thing, is that you need to keep rebalancing, the situation. You have log messages that are stored in different topics, or the topics itself get partitioned off. So you have different messages that are in different places. And if you add a cluster, you need to rebalance all of these topics. It's got to spread out. How do you do it, right? So in Kafka, is that my understanding is it doesn't have things natively that can do it. So, you as a programmer, then you have to take care of how do you scale, right? How do you rebalance all of these things? So it gets kind of messy, right? I think I can see. But the thing is, so Ivan did topic rebalances, which was neat. So maybe that's what it is. Now, does Confluent, the platform, does it do it too? Or is it something, that it manages for Kafka? And I haven't used Confluent enough to be able to tell. So Ivan does topic balancing. Yeah, that's good. So, and that's the thing too with Pulsar itself. And guess what? Pulsar doesn't have to rely on your cloud platform or whatever platform outside of Pulsar to do all the rebalancing, because Pulsar is already built in, right? All of these, it knows it, right? If I have added another cloud, cluster to it, then I know how do I rebalance everything. I already have things under my control. So as you can see, right, it's more like native to Pulsar itself. So that's why too I like to also talk more about Pulsar. I think it's a very powerful feature. It also, kind of save a lot of headaches from otherwise, for developers. But I'm not sure, right? If Ivan is not native to Kafka, so how does it still needs to kind of like communicate with Kafka to know how to rebalance things. So possibly it's just not as native, right? Not as fast, right? Would I say it like that? So anyway, So that's the thing, again, I have not actually worked with it, but I can understand the issue that can kind of occur, when you're dealing with things when they have become kind of a larger scale. Now, not only that, if I kind of bring in Pulsar, is that because of it having, kind of born with the cloud native awareness, right? Kind of the DNA, even I coin it DNA of cloud native. Then it also can handle geo replication very well too. So basically, you can have different data centers, right, in throughout in your region and everything. You need to replicate the geo replication. How does it go from one data center to another? Replicates. Now that's another thing. Now it is basically, it handles also certain data kind of. Granularity into the data itself. Maybe you don't want to be replicating everything from one data center to another, because, if I'm in Europe, right? Europe, you have GDPR, which is like the concern with data privacy, and it's more strict, right? Stricter, let's put that way, stricter than that it is in the US in general, right? US is big, and even within different states, we have different standards, and California actually has it more stricter than others, right? And anyway, so that's the thing, is that Pulsar too, because it is aware of, on the data level too, there are needs to kind of do replication based on maybe certain configuration. So Pulsar also has that already kind of a provisioning that you can do, right, in a geo different, kind of data centers that spread out, in different geo regions, and you have different rules and things like that. So that's another thing, right? It is just summarizing. That's the geo replication aspect. CCPA, what is that? So let me kind of search. That's interesting. We're learning different things today. I'm not actually talking so much about my project. So, oh, thank you. So, California Consumer Privacy Act. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Full Snapple, you're really good. So, exactly. So yes. So California has it more stricter, right, than others. So all these things too. Basically, the geo replication you can configure so that Pulsar can actually do some of these kind of more like, so to speak, a more infrastructural thing for you. So then it frees up Pulsar itself. The runtime Pulsar runtime to deal with the messaging, with the compute side of things, rather than the log messaging. All these log messaging can be very huge, and it's delegated to bookkeeper to handle it, right? So yeah, that's right. So you didn't do geo replication. Yeah. And yeah, in Kafka, I've actually read about, or kind of highlighting, right, some articles. People were saying that, okay, you can also do geo replication, all of these things. Yeah, it costs money. That's right. That's what it is. So it just requires more time. I think you have to kind of build something extra to it. So it is, everything's possible, but it just means may not be an optimized way of doing things. And geo replication is one. Then there's this thing called multi-tenancy too, right? So Kafka doesn't, again, the way I look at it is that it's an evolutionary thing, and Kafka came before Pulsar, and Pulsar took into account the fact that, okay, Kafka doesn't take care of a lot of these other things. So basically too, then Pulsar also does the multi-tenancy quite well. So if I have to like share with you, right? Let's say, let me kind of like bring over my. Actually, here we go. Actually, you know what? I just have too many things. So let me search for my. Where is it? Like, that's so funny, right? You get too many things, and when you look for it, you can't find it. Okay, here we go. Let me kind of bring this over. Okay, so that's that, right? So that's my presentation slide deck. I was just going to talk about the multi-tenancy part, right? And I know sometimes when we don't have to work with it yet, you may not be thinking about it. But the thing is, as you understand, actually, this guy, multi-tenancy. So as I understand things more, because it is true too in general, right? As developers, we kind of always just deal more with the compute side of things. We may not be as kind of pay as much attention to the clustering side, right? The things that are more, to me, I kind of call it more like the infrastructural, but yet very necessary thing, right? They in general, I still remember when I was like working back then with JEE, right? Java Enterprise Edition. and was working with WebLogic, I remember we had to deal with the load balancing, the clustering, and everything. I remember it's, oh gosh, it's just it's another step outside of, already my business logic. It can be complex. I'm having all these logic, and you're managing that. Then all of a sudden you have to worry about, okay, the environment, the more the infrastructural side. So anyway, so I'm just going to say is that here, right, there's a multi-tenancy, the concept of multi-tenancy, right? So it's basically, you can have a cluster, right? The cluster is already, it's already on our cloud, on the managed, Astra streaming side, right? You can, your whole structure of all of your data is already kind of divided up into like different tenants. So then it makes it easier for you to manage. You can create like different tenants to handle on your stream. You can have tenancy to each of your cluster. So then it just helps you to organize the data much easier too. So again, I don't blame Kafka. It's just that Kafka was designed at the time, when you think about it, it's like operating system. You're just doing a lot of the lower level stuff. But as I think the whole industry is getting more mature, everybody's, our understanding is better, then you're gonna be, increasing in, you're focusing on more kind of deeper features that you can enable it, less of a lower level, right? The lower level stuff is kind of built up, so now you're gonna move up to the to essentially higher kind of layers of your software. So anyway, that's just what I wanted to talk about. And again, with multiple tenancy, and also the geo-replication over here too. So basically over here, right, you can have different geo-replication, a different cluster in different geographical areas. And then, some of these replication mode and patterns, like synchronous versus asynchronous, or active, passive, selective message replication, all of these things, right? I have to admit, I haven't worked too closely with it. So I can't speak too deeply about those, but I'm aware of that. So can point you in the right direction if you are interested in this level of, your ecosystem that you need to handle different kind of centers. You need to replicate between them, all of these things. So, okay, so this and then multi-tenancy, those are kind of like the big thing. And also, of course, the Pulsar separates out your compute and storage, right? That part I think I already talked about too, in which, we're worried about. Pulsar deals with the broker, is already by itself kind of a lot of work. You have your messages. How do you deliver it? You have, different rules of retain, how do you retain the messages? Quality of services deal with your delivery, guaranteeing your delivery, all of these things. It's already complicated enough. So it's more like the housekeeping part I kind of delegate. I think it's a smart design in which, Pulsar delegated to, essentially down here is the bookkeeper. So the bookkeeper itself, that's his specialty. It, like I said, I like to tell, in my talks too, I like to tell folks, you have a big house, right? And you want to enjoy your house too. And you still need to deal with a lot of things. But for example, you need to clean it. You need to do some of these other things. How do you deal with recycling, all these things in your kitchen, whatever. But basically, we hire someone who specializes in it. So maybe like somebody who comes into your house, a contractor, right? A cleaning person, janitor, come in and do everything. So basically, Pulsar is smart enough to say, okay, I don't want to do some of these repetitive maintenance, housekeeping. I'm just going to have a housekeeper, which is Apache Bookkeeper, because that's their specialty. Well, of course, it's not simple, but bookkeepers is their strength, to deal with all of these things. And basically, I wanted to say to bookkeeper, I have another slide on bookkeeper that I talk about. Where did it go? Well, I thought I had it. Oh, sorry about that. I think maybe it's over here. Wait. Anyway, I think I know, because I thought, okay, I'm not gonna talk way too much about it, but the bookkeeper part two is interesting. It has it's also maybe it's over here or over there. Bookkeeper. And here I am. I'm not doing a formal presentation. So here, right? Where's my bookkeeper slide? Oh, here we go. Okay. So bookkeeper is this thing, right? It's got the wall-based fault tolerance, all of these. So that's the essentially bookkeeper itself is already complicated enough. So we let bookkeeper handle all of it. So essentially that's what it is. So okay. Anyway, so okay, so full Snapple, you're saying about cost money. I think Mirror Maker with Kafka could work perhaps. Yeah, that's what I heard too. Actually, Kafka has Mirror Makers basically dealing with all the geo replication, but I've also heard too, just from conferences, that people talking about the Mirror Maker is actually hard to use and also not very precise. A lot of things, so it's not like Pulsar itself. That's the thing. Pulsar has kind of better um, kind of design, right, to deal with geo replication. So that's what it is. So yeah. So anyway, yeah. I mean, enough of all of these things. I'm not trying to like. Well, I okay. So I'm not a salesperson, but I think I just go for good stuff, and I want to recommend to everybody. So that's what it is. So all right. So okay. So and what else should we be talking about? I find myself a little bit not very organized today. Well, I guess most of the time I'm not very organized because I'm just having like too much to do. But thank you too again for this CCPA. I hope it is helpful just to talk a bit too about this. And let's see. Oh, and of course, I was like working on my code right last week. If we want to go into that, maybe let's kind of do that. Oh, by the way, that's another nice picture of Chicago that is actually from from a famous photographer right in Chicago. So I got it, and like I said, it's not for publishing at all. Just want to share. But otherwise, too, this is kind of like the Chicago River. So if you want to join JCon, that would be great. But at the same time, let me kind of get back into let's kind of get back into doing the that particular exercise, right? The toy engine of my trading exercise or trading toy engine, trading trade matching toy engine. So let me kind of bring it over here, and I think that was last week, right? Okay, so that was yeah, that was my thing, right? So okay, here we go. Actually, you know what? How do I actually? I forgot how to do that. Okay, I thought I could expand, but that's all right too. So this one, oh, that's right. Okay, all right. Somebody, oh yeah, that's right. There was just someone that was talking to me about Postman, right? Postman is also. Oh, actually, you know what? Let's take a look at Postman because that was something I wanted to look up. It was just somebody from Postman. As you know, right? Postman. Well, I don't mean to digress a little bit, but Postman might be something interesting too, especially when we're working with APIs, right? So, for if you're developing microservices or you expose an API endpoint, you want to be able to test it quickly. Um, so that's the thing we can be using, right? And let me see. Okay, here we go. Okay, all right, then I'm back here, and I just need to find where my thing is. Let me kind of turn on the light. It's a little bit getting dark now. Okay, because I think it's gonna be raining here where I am, so it's getting a little dark. But okay, so Postman is essentially an API platform. You can be doing your RESTful API. You want to be testing it, but anyway, I think it would be interesting too, as such, right? It's building and using API. So you know what? Let's kind of try it out to try out something. That might be good to do too. And I don't mean to be digressing, but this is kind of like the midsummer episode. As I mentioned, it's a bit more like catching up with things and getting back. I need to work on my code too, but just haven't got too much time yet right now to kind of get caught up with it. But I wanted to try this out because it used to be Postman, right? There's like let's just do some fun stuff because I wanted to be able to try like a public RESTful API on the fly is what I'm thinking. Now that I think about it, because as such, right? I have this question: can we leverage on Postman's WebSocket connection to link up Pulsar producer client and subscribe to client? That was the question for me, right? And so that's the thing I wanted to let me take a look. Their Postman WebSocket thing. So WebSocket. So I know I'm kind of digressing, but sometimes too. Because now I think of it, I wanted to also take a look in it. Okay, so Introducing, learn more about how to test the WebSocket API in Postman. Let's take a look. Okay, WebSocket. Okay, so basically, I got this question because they were saying that Postman has WebSocket API. So if we do WebSocket, essentially the raw socket, and it's basically was saying the question was asked to me was if we can actually leverage on Postman WebSocket API and having, let's say, a pops up kind of interaction that is interacting with the WebSocket and still use the broker, but somehow I have to have some broker that integrates with the WebSocket API. But I'm not sure. Actually, now I think of it, I'm not sure what the advantage would be. Although let's kind of explore into this too. Yeah. Okay. So this article is about WebSocket protocols in Postman. Uh, since learning about two, okay, and WebSocket server to test them out via Postman. We're in initial, okay. So that can be a WebSocket Echo service can be subdivided into two WebSocket servers, one for raw WebSocket connections and the other for socket.io connections. So this is the thing, right? It's WebSocket. You could do that. Uh, it serves as a simple Echo server designed to have three other paths which will help you in understanding how to use query parameters, headers, and message formats while testing your WebSocket API in Postman. So basically, you could do that too. And then it stands as an example how event listening and event handling by Socket.io WebSocket servers can be done in Postman. So it's also like a form of event listening and handling too, right? It's essentially, the WebSocket.io Echo server is like the server for handling any events that are sent to it. It's listening for anything and it handles it accordingly. And it's leveraging on this Postman platform to do it. Okay, so but it's actually not having a true example. I was hoping that. Okay, so perhaps I shouldn't be digressing right now, but the thing is, like I said, that just would have been interesting too. Have you actually worked with it? Maybe Fusnabo or anybody dealing with, handling, you build API using an API platform to do it. But even I wanted to try to understand too. Postman, right, is API platform for building and using APIs. It simplifies each step of the API lifecycle and streamlines collaboration, so you can create APIs faster. So that's the approach, right? The API repository, and then the tooling is there for doing design tests, mark, monitor, document everything, and the intelligence, and then the public workspace. There's also team workspaces and personal workspaces. So, okay, so maybe have to, kind of forgive me. I haven't worked with this, but like I said, actually, I have to say I used to use Postman for only testing my RESTful API and not really using Postman as an API platform for doing more robust type of, the full service API development. I've actually worked with this system called, what is it called? It's actually the guided patch panel. So if you can, it's actually quite interesting because it deals with hardware. Is a panel that will help you to connect. In big data center, you need to connect, your servers to the power panels, and then it helps you to connect, all of the servers together. Patch panels, think of it like bridge, right? That bridge has different points where you can actually connect different endpoints of different servers to another one too. So it's actually interacting with the hardware, and the hardware is also driven by their drivers that are firmware. That firmware interacts with the software. So that's quite interesting. In a large network too, you can actually manage all of your devices on a network, and they all can be discovered, on this patch panel as well. So Anyway, the thing is, I'm bringing it up because then we were then exposing at the time RESTful concept came up in 2010, and we were just developing, exposing public API. So then essentially you can do connect you using an API called connect. You in the connect you can tell it, source, of your source server and destination server and the IP address and the port number, all of these things, and then we will actually, the software will resolve it for you and do the guided kind of plugging in the cables, to the patch panel. So I hope that makes sense to you. But anyway, so that's the API I've done. But now, though, Postman is an API platform. So I wonder too, then your platform will then have to hook up to your system that you're trying to manage, right? So that will help you to sort out all of the APIs that you need. Okay, so I think that makes sense. So um, it's interesting. Okay, breaking, let me see, case studies. Actually, let's look at some case studies. Okay, so these are just different case studies. I think would just be interesting too. But let's kind of look at software and technology. Maybe looking at Twitter, right? Twitter, you can basically have a developer portal. They rely on the Postman API platform. But let's look at the developer portal. Um, so you can actually do use cases of, for, let's say, for the public, or build for fun. Let's just do it like that. So you can actually make a bot or create some artwork, connect, the hardware or gadgets and everything. Okay, go to Docs. I just want to take a look too. So Twitter API. So you can actually have Twitter API access level. Well, okay, so fair enough. I think this API level, API system also kind of manage all of the secure kind of connection for you. So that's fair enough. So that's actually important too, right? So, but it's interesting because I haven't. Let me take a look. Right, Twitter API endpoint map. So these are all RESTful style of uh, connection, right? Doing a get or doing a post, tweets lookup, right? So you can do a get, for example, status is show, and then the ID. So basically, too, if I want to make, some certain Twitter, my Twitter account, showing maybe some messages that contain certain things, and I display it on my website, I basically can leverage on this API to help me do it, right? So, and then, but I think I'm just kind of curious just to see too, like, then how is it that it is capable of doing, and how is a platform like Postman can help to do it, right? So, all right, so because it's interesting too, I can also write my own platform, but what is the purpose of having an API platform to do it? Again, maybe a lot of the kind of housekeeping thing can be handled by this platform. Let's say get the tweet timeline. So the user timeline, for example, something like that, right? So I just want to like actually look into one resource, right? I guess I could like test it too. Oh, actually, here we go. Actually, what I can also do a get on my browser as well. So let's say something like this. If I do it in here, so yeah, there's no authentication as you can see here. Okay, all right. So okay, but we get the idea. So basically, I can also leverage on a Postman. Actually, I don't. I do. I would need to do an extension, right? So I'll have to do Postman. Oh, or I have to search, right? Or is it over here? Developer mode. Wait, developer tools. Oh, that's just tooling. Okay. All right. right. Well, anyway, I just haven't done it before, or I thought I should be able to do it in here. Maybe like do it like tooling, going to extension, search extension. So I thought I'm supposed to be able to do. Oh, okay. So I think I know. Okay. For some reason, I thought I should be able to say Chrome extension store. Go to the Chrome web store. What am I talking about? Okay. So I should be able to say, what was I going to do? Now I forgot. I was going to say I wanted to do Postman for WebSocket. Oh, so there's nothing in here. Okay, nothing like that. Okay. Postman REST client. There we go. So all kinds of extension that folks have built out. So um, I thought Postman interceptor. So I could potentially do something like this too, right over here. So basically, it helps you send requests which use browser cookies to the Postman app. So, okay, so I do need to actually perhaps like install this too. Oh, I can actually do it directly on their site too, is what it is. Okay, well, I won't do it today, but like I said, I'm just kind of quite curious to see how this would work, right? They support WebSocket flowing through it, and basically leveraging on their WebSocket API, could I actually have a Pulsar client that I'm actually connecting to my Pulsar broker, but can actually go through the WebSocket API on Postman platform? Now, I'm not sure how it would work because for Pulsar, we are connecting using the Pulsar plus SSL protocol to do it. So I think there's got to be some sort of integration that needs to be happening. So maybe we'll explore it next time. So I'm sorry, I kind of get digressed. So maybe next time I'll work on it. But like I said, because I got reminded, right, of this question. So before I forget, sometimes I just like to share what I have. So, okay, so here we go. Let me go back now to my toy engine. So last time we are doing the buy side price. If you kind of remember, right, we were, let me go back to here. I think I have my, did I use Miro or did I use Miro, right? Miro. Let me go back to my, no, I did, actually, I didn't use this. What am I doing? I was using Google Draw. Oh, not drawn. Google Drawings. Yes, there we go. And there we go. So here we go. My experiment project. Okay. So I won't go for too long now because I've been just chatting a lot this today. And let me go to reviewing, right, my experimental project. We have two sides, is buy side and sell side. So we want to have a topic representing each, right? So it makes it easier because the buyer, I want to buy, I want to send, all my data, to this topic, right? I want to buy something, I want to present a set of prices, to this broker. And then sell side, same thing too. I want to sell something, I want to present a set of data, right? And I can also have different sellers too, not just one in reality, right? There could be multiple people, customers wanting to buy a stock, and then multiple people want to sell it. So you try to look for the buyer and seller, you try to match them up. And so, again, this is just a review. So how to send in prices to the data pipelines, right? And that's what we did. We did a bash script, and then also the Pulsar client. That's what we've done. Now, next thing we could try to do is just a simple JavaScript UI that we can just run it, and essentially too behind the scenes is communicating with Pulsar from these buyer and seller to send to the topics accordingly. And then not for real, right? And the next thing then we can do is to actually do the matching part. So, but for now, let's go back to that example that I was showing you, which is here. So actually, you know what we'll do? What we will do is here. Let's go over here first. And then we will just maximize this. And then we can kind of go by this, right? All right, there we go. So this is the script that I've done, right? Just a very simple, basic CLI script to prompt for a buy side price, and only one for now, right? And we do a read price and then echo the price and then send it over to Pulsar and publish to my broker. And that's what we've done last time. So let's go back to my AstraDB is where I manage my stream, where I manage my broker. Oops. So again, if you want to sign up for free tier AstraDB, please do so. I know I'm maybe like repetitive, like an old grandma. Well, but not to say, but the thing is, that's what we say, right? Well, I remember growing up, my grandmothers on both sides of the family, they were lovely people, but they tend to repeat what they say many times. So maybe I'm getting older and I'm becoming like that. So sorry about that, but sometimes it's funny too. But just wanted to say again, right? Astra.datastacks.com is how you can get to the Astra DB site, and then you can also get free access without giving your credit card. And every month, let's see, look at this, right? Just August refresh, I get $25 US dollar. Now, the thing is, if you are not based in the US, and I believe you should still be able to access it from other countries, but if you get kind of block or whatever, as I mentioned, right, connect with me on my Discord, and then I can help you get a free account. But for now, over here too, you can also request an increase too. Isn't it nice? That is very nice. Let me see what it says. I never saw it before. Okay. Can you help me connect to Astra? I want to learn more about pricing. Want to schedule an Astra demo? I have a question about the workshop. I want to increase my rate limit. I want to ask another question. So now today, I do have to say that maybe you won't get, responses as fast. You know why? Because this week is our company refresh week. So like I said, right, I don't treat this like working. It's just I like to continue doing this stream because I think it's good for us, the community, and I enjoy doing it. I enjoy seeing folks, and even though this may be viewed, as offline, but I think it's good, right? And like I said, right, today, if you try to interact with anybody, I think maybe some of our support people are online, but most of us, I think, could be on vacation too. So you may not be getting responses back as fast as you would like, right? So just FYI. So, but this is very cool too. And basically, let me see how I can, dismiss, right? Okay, wait. So you can claim up to 5,000 in credit for qualified startups or commercial ventures. That's new for me. So if you're interested, do a request too, and doesn't, nothing to lose. So, okay, here we go. Let me see. How can I actually? Okay, here we go. Let me kind of minimize it again. So I never actually click on it. I just realized it. So again, let's kind of review a little bit on our streaming. Now, the thing is too, I have a couple of streams that I've created already. I think I did some Twitch on June 29. I don't think I'm using it yet. I can probably, I think I was just demoing it. I can actually remove it too. Is an AWS one, and I don't think I have any topics that's correct. I don't have a name. Oh, the namespace is default. No syncs and no sources, right? All these things. So, okay, that's fine. I could probably remove it because I don't need it. And okay, I can't just remove it like there. But let's say if I want to remove it, settings, delete tenant. Okay, so it's Twitch. That was just a demo, but I don't want to be using, So it's as simple as like that. You just remove it. And I think I have tenant 2. I might be using it for something. Actually, I'm not using it. And then I have a Twitch tenant 1. Huh, interesting. What am I using this for? Let me look at my topics. Ah, this is our trade. That one was what we used last week, right? This is our manual subscriber, and then that's what we did, if you remember. So let's kind of give it a try, right? So this is the one, in fact, that we were using. So this one, I want to make sure MG Twitch tenant 1 is what I do not want to get rid of, and the rest is just some other things I'm using it for. So over here, right, we have one subscriber, is a manual subscriber, so we aren't even writing code for that yet. So we can add another subscriber, but for now we can keep this for now, and let's try to run this, right? And let me do this. Actually, could I let me use my Emacs over here. Okay. Okay. Ah, that's right. When I do that, then it always. Yeah, this is interesting too because I'm running my shell inside my Emacs. Sometimes the control character is not being able to map accordingly, but I think it's okay too. So okay, so here we go. I'm already in my trade engine platform, and I have my add price.shell. So again, right, it would just ask me. Actually, here we go. Okay, so enter my buy side, over here, right? Enter my buy side price, only one for now. So we'll just kind of publish. Let's say we have, let's say $12. Okay, and then what will happen here is that, okay, and now basically too, when we did that, I made a call using command line client and publish it, right? Publish to this particular topic manual, actually not manual sub, but I publish it to trade buy is the buy topic that I publish to. Actually, I might be kind of a little too big and it's kind of blocking this. So let me shrink myself up a little bit, so then I don't kind of become like blocking, right? Okay, so this is better. I'm just a little smaller now. So, okay. Okay, so here we go. But you can see too, basically we already have tested, we started off 3 messages. So now we already have 4 messages. That means that message got through to this particular topic. But we weren't able to actually see the consumer, actually subscription. So we have this subscription. We can actually message position peak. So that's what we did, right? We're sending the message hello, but as you can see, it get padded with the byte array beforehand too, like pre-padded it. So the messages is should be the price. Why is it only? Oh, you know what? Peak at position 2. Ah, there we go, and then 3. Oops. Oh, so the third messages were 12. We sent it twice, right? Ah, then why is it the messages 4? That's interesting. Oh, let's do it again. Okay, subscription. Oh, no, here. You have to kind of click on here. So my message position, let's say 0. Does it? Okay, it starts with 1. It's not 0 based. So the first time we sent was hello. Second was like 23. Yeah. Third one was what we just sent. It's a 12. So here it is too. I'm kind of curious to see what these are, right? These are basically is /u. That's the byte array. So like I said, we are doing the right thing, but it always come up with this. So okay, so at least we know it is working. So here, The next thing we want to do, we know that sending the messages, the prices one at a time is working now, right? Very simple, very basic, truly a toy. So what we want to do now is basically do this one thing. Let's pump a set of numbers, basically, mimicking my set of market maker in the morning. We're pumping in a bunch of prices to the topic itself. So over here too, we prompt for one price right on the buy side. But now, right now, let's do that. This is just prompt for one. Let's say step 1.2. Prompt for multiple price input for the buy side. Okay, so you could actually do enter price, side price, one at a time, empty row to indicate finish. So basically, the last one has to be space. So let's see how we could do it. And that's something I totally forgot how to do it. I used to be able to remember how to do it. It's basically has to just loop around, read the price, right? Read the price, and over here too, essentially some kind of like keep reading until the last until we get an empty LA. And pack up. We kind of like then bundle up. Oh, actually, you know what? We probably still want to bundle it up, even though it sounds like we're batching things up. We're not doing it interactively. But on the other hand, too, because we want to minimize making the client call, we want the client to make one call and then we send a file over to the topic for it to digest, to consume, right? Or actually send to topic and then the subscriber will get back, will see a whole bunch of input is what we're trying to do. So let's see. All right, so here we go. Let me kind of go back in here. We keep reading until we get an empty array. We then bundle up the list of input and send that over to the topic. To the POSA client for publishing in a file, something like that. Okay, so let's see. So we basically will read this. So it's got to be something like while price I think not equals, no, some kind of thing like that. Okay, all right, so that's the kind of thing I need to look up right now. Bash let's do bash terminal commands cheat sheet for Mac. Oh, there's a basics. No, this isn't what I'm looking for. Oh, just terminal. I'm sorry. I meant bash. I think it comes back with just the Mac terminal commands. I'm actually looking for bash shortcut. No, scripting cheat sheet is what I'm looking for. Okay, let's see. Let's see if we can find what I need in here. Let me see. Actually, is that I hope that the music isn't too loud, right? Nobody's complaining, so we can kind of make it a little louder too. Loop. All right. Actually, let me also first look up too in the Pulsar client itself. Over here, I want to publish rather than one price at a time. I want to publish the messages as a list, right, or like a file. So let me look that up too. Oh, over here. Okay, and I wanted to. Oh, command line client. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, oops, no. Let me search for this. Client setup phase, but I wanted to know the usage, right? Okay, here we go. Let's do this one thing. Let me go to my uh, let me do this one thing. Actually, which one? No. Okay, there's too many things going on, and oh, that was where I was running last time. But let's do this one thing. This is Astra. Okay, this no. I'm using different things for different purposes. So, okay, let's go here. Temporal. I want to go to the right place, and I wanted to do a Pulsar client. Oops, Pulsar client. And funny, it looks like I'm sitting among flowers, and I realize I still have my Astra.DataStax on. So let me hide it. All right, so here we go. Just wanted to look up now. I wanted to see when I send. The thing is, we know that we can send the message one at a time, but now let's see what would be a good way to actually send some like a bundled up message, right? We can send it as a file, or can we kind of stream it? Is what I'm looking at, right? The idea is that we don't want to make one call for each data, each piece of data in the list, right? We only make one client call and have the whole set of data all bundle up to be sent over is what I'm trying to think. So over here to here we go. We can send a file, comma separated file paths to send, right? We can send the file. Oh, so messages. I can actually send multiple messages too. So let's try this then. In that case, which means, you know what? Let's kind of do it like small steps at a time. So dash dash messages or the dash m. As long as we have a string that is comma separated, then it should be okay. However, what if actually comma is part of the data set, right? I think there's like a separator. So I can do another separator too, is dash s. So okay, let's try this. Okay, let's try with. I'm gonna do this. Okay, so we want to try to keep reading, but let's say something like this in here too. That's just a pseudocode, but we're not gonna be doing it. We want to read the price, and we want to kind of loop back. So basically, we could do a while true. Oh, now we can then construct, right? We can construct the string. Uh, Essentially, we want to do something like read the price and then append price to the uh, to the message. So I just need to figure this out now on bash side. Manipulation is what it is. I think. Oh, manipulate. This one is only showing me that I want to append substring, replace all, loop. Because I'm actually, because I know if you are in doing coding, right, in let's say Java, then I can do a string dot append, right, a string buffer dot append or something, but I don't know how you do that. I've done it in the past, cannot remember now. Truncate, maybe. I can use a printf, maybe. Transform strings. Oh my gosh, how can I? But it truncates dash t dash t. How about that? There we go. Just one character. We read and then we echo. Okay, so that's what we just did. Reading input. Um, but I want to be able to transform the string. Uh, dash t. Okay, so is it like dash t? Okay, let's try that out. Okay, let's do this one thing. Export or just kind of set something, right? Let's do this testing. One. Okay, that's one. We know it, right? Okay. Ignore my other thing. Okay, and okay, here we go. like using set. Oh, wait, I can just use printf for this. Huh. Oh, it's not actually printing out. Oh, it is. Actually, it's -1. Okay. So I think then that's good. That means we can do something like this. Testing. Uh, can we do that actually? No. Oh, no, I cannot do that. Transforms. Oh, so we can echo and then pipe it. Okay, so if we're gonna be reading that, we read the input and then we want to truncate it to what's already there. So last argument of the previous command. That this is a good time for me to be getting a bit more, reacquainted with doing this. So these are just options. Redirection inspecting command. Source transforming strings. So okay, let me do this. Let me try this out. No, but it's not truncates. This is kind of like merging, right? Why am I like all of a sudden not able to kind of think right? So let me just testing. Okay, so here we go. So if I do that, it will come out correctly like this. Uh, so I basically need to read and then append it to another one, right? So and let me do this one thing. Why am I like all of a sudden not able to think? Because I have not done bash. How to append to a string. Concatenate. There we go. Okay, there we go. Okay. Well, the thing is too is I can dynamically. This is what I need with the plus equals. There we go. It's basically plus equal. Oh wait. So okay. So maybe I'm just going to need two things. Okay. Here we go. Okay. I have testing. So testing. Let's say right. It's what I have set. Okay. It's still one. So what I need to do is basically do this. Let's say my price is. Oops, oh yeah. Ah, all right. Here we go. This is the dynamic read. Nothing in here. Okay. Oh, Oh, that's another thing. I need to export editor. Next, let me see if that works. Ah, right. Set. What is it? What's here? Ah, dash open. Set dash o. Ah, guess it won't work. I guess it's because this isn't my formal shell. This is within Emacs the shell. All right, that's fine. Let's do this. I already set that. Okay. I haven't set that yet. Okay. So let's say this is the accumulative one. So let's export dynamic read. Actually, there's no need to be exporting to, I think. Ah, see, that's why I would like to dynamic. Okay, so dynamic read is 0. That's what I've set in here. So 0. Okay, cool. So now I should be able to say testing plus equal. Let's see if that works. Oh yeah, then that's right. So actually I should be doing like this is the first time I said okay, here we go. Here we go. So this is so frustrating. Um, plus equals. Okay, when I start, this would be nothing. So let's do this one thing. Let's kind of. This is like resetting. Okay, empty. Good. So when I come in, then I can say plus equals dynamic read now. Yes, then that's right. Okay, so here we go. This is what we can do. While true, let's do this one thing. Let's do a counter. Actually, how do I do the counter now? Uh, iteration. Iteration. Condition. I want to increment. That's funny, right? I mean, I used to be able. Okay, so we can do like a for loop. How about that? Let's do a for loop instead. It's just more for testing right now. Let's do let's do like something like 10 at a time. Now, of course, in reality, we want it to be more dynamic too. So testing equals nothing. Read the dynamic. Oh, but then the last one. Okay, so um, let's not do too much right now. Let's do something like uh, start with 0, we end at 5. So actually, we need that, and then to be sent messages. And basically, the last one, 5. Actually, we'll have to do this. I need to make sure. Or I can just do that too. If I have to do testing, it's interesting, right? Sometimes we just know the concept, but it's kind of different syntax. The way is this is what I forgot. If I can do an if, how do I do an if? I don't want to do a case. Ah, there we go. If, because it's a string. Okay, let me do this. Just one thing. I hope I can. Ah, I guess I should be able to do this. If is the I is 4, I wonder if I can do it like this. If it's not 4, oh, uh, if it's not equal, right? Is it like this? 4, and actually, almost looks like it's using. Then, if it's not 4, then I do plus minus comma, and I should be able to do that. Okay, and then this is like 4, right? And 4. So do I end with this? 4? Isn't how it ends? The loop? Oh, done. Huh. Huh. I thought it was the other thing. Okay, cool. All right, let's see if that works. And then if it works, and then say exit in here. Okay, exit. All right, let's just test up to that. Well, actually, that's the thing. We'll skip for now, and then one at a time. Ooh, I guess I did it wrong. It's 4. Error token is 4. Okay, so I didn't do it right. I thought I'm supposed to be like that. Because it's a number, I wonder if I could do that. Oops. Ah. Right, this, oh, I actually, uh, Oh, so I guess not. Maybe it's this one. Let's see if that works because getting to do that. Oh, so okay. Well, at least it is getting okay. So I'm just dollar one. I think it like this. Oops. Ah, I keep forgetting to do that. Okay, here we go. Okay. All right. So so that's good too. At least it was okay. It looks okay, but I think when I do the comparison, I didn't do it right. So I think it may be like this. Let's see if that works. Oh, no. Ah, forgetting. All right. So actually, it got well. Okay, so it never got the comma, is what it is, because my syntax isn't correct. But this isn't string, and that's the thing, right? So yeah, that's the thing. Okay, okay. So it's still not liking it. I don't think I'd be able to. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm just these are like small things, but let's yeah. One, two, three, four, five. Okay, so at least it's doing it right, but the loop up there is right, but when I do the if, it's not doing the right thing when I do the comparison. So let me see if anybody is talking. I don't think anybody is here now, but I'm still kind of being silly, still hanging out in here. So I think Fu Snapple probably went to bed, but thank you so much, Fu Snapple, for having been here. But let me get this resolved. I just need to do the comparison, like doing an if. See over here, the equal. You can do dollar $a, right? Example, uh, like I said, by yeah, see the number. Oh, okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. It's actually looks like it's this. It's actually not equal. That's what I thought, and it didn't seem to work. So if it's not 4, I think it's sometimes this guy has to be in. The spacing is important too. So let's do this. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 5, and then it should get 1, 3. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Oh, finally we got it done. Okay, so I'm just again right, just trying to set up this dynamically. Get that. So now I got this string. So I should be then able to send this string over. So let's kind of undo the testing part, right? Not exiting now. So okay, this is your list of buy prices. Like, okay, so For now, we're just limiting it to uh, actually. Okay, that should be able to work. So we should see that list. So with this list, the testing, we should be able to send it over to our Pulsar pricing. So over here, we should be able to say testing, right? So well, I've changed to, but let's see. Okay, in the meantime, let's go back to our. Uh, okay, here we go. That's the thing. Sometimes it's just it times out too fast, right? Sometimes we were kind of trying to figure out a way to see if we can actually sustain the session without having to like log back on again. So yeah. Oh wait, I think I got somebody's pinging me. To be honest with you, I am so thankful. I have so many friends, right? I go as developer advocates and meeting people. There are, audiences like yourself, developers you can be, or beginning developers or students and everybody. I love meeting you all. And then also I have my fellow speakers, my colleagues and everybody. I have to say, I am so blessed, getting to know so many people. But these days, I have to kind of tell you how busy I am. I get invited to talk at conferences or even not conferences, maybe some event and a meetup or whatever. I love to do them all. And that's my problem. I'm saying yes to most places. But I actually have started declining. Not that, please do not understand, I don't mean to decline. I just simply don't have time, and it's my issue in there. So anyway, let's see if this works first, and then if it works, then basically, right? So I'm just basically saying that another fellow speaker was just saying hello to me, and I have to say hello to her. So let me kind of do this, okay? Let me go back to my Twitch tenant. This one, as you can see, we're doing the trade buy one, right? And we have one subscription. We want to be watching it, right? Peeking like this. Okay, so we know we have subscription. Let's take a look, right? We start with 4 messages. Now we're trying to send like a messages that's comma delimited, right? And essentially, let's see if the Pulsar client is able to figure out it's a set of messages. It will just publish, right? Treat them as separate field of data into it. So, oh, before I forget, right? And this one, we test that earlier with the step one. So I will, for now, right, this guy. Let's not all get rid of things, because if we want to test it again, not to say this is the best way, right? But it's just quick. Sometimes you just have to do some things something quickly. So, all right. Now this is we're trying to send 5 cases. So let's say we want the price is 12, 24, 36, 48, and then so 112. Okay, one more. This is our set of buy prices. Now it's gonna send them over. Okay, let's see. All right, let's kind of take a look at this. It looks like it's done. Peak. Okay, we know that the first three. Okay, that's the 2 one from last week. Peak. Okay, the 4 should now be the new one now. It should be 12, right? Yeah, 12. That's what we just sent in. 5, 24. Oh, interesting. It says 124. That's interesting. So let's see what the 6 to. There we go. I see what this is now. Oh my gosh. So this actually, it's the your messages as is indicating the positioning of that set of messages. So this is actually the first message as you sent over in that chunk. The first message will be it's a 0 started, so we know that the 12 is basically /u. 001 is basically the position of your messages, your input. So that was like 112. The 12 is the actual number, but it indicates it's the first in position. But in our position in testing in here is number 4, 5, and then now 6. 6 correspond to the third input we have. So now the next one we should be able to guess will be U003, and then it should be 48, right? Okay. So now it should be 7. Yep, 348. The next one would be 460, right? So this would be 8. Yay! So we got it. It gets all. Okay, very good. Cool, cool, cool. So now we know how to. Well, at least I created my input. But again, these are not the most dynamic way, right? So okay, let's close this now. So actually, let's take a look, right? So we try up to. We know we send messages. We send 5, right? So it's number 8. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now let's say 9. 9 shouldn't be there. Nothing yet. So that's right. Message not found. Whereas if it's 8, it should be what? 460, right? That's the one. Oops. Yep, 460. Okay, cool. So we know that that works. So in this case, right, we know that we can essentially send them all, and then they will kind of come in. We batch them up, even though we're not supposed to be batching, but the batch is only for the transmission once. We send them all at once. So, and that's the tooling we want to build. Is basically, if you have your user, you need to prompt them for input. If you're working with market makers, right, they need to submit all the prices, maybe from one firm, it's set of prices and whatever it is, they need to type it in and all that. And basically we'll have prompted for it. But ideally too, we should actually have a JavaScript, some kind of UI. You can just quickly enter all the prices in and enter, and then we take care of submitting it using the Pulsar client to do it. Oh, okay, cool. So right here, we received 9 messages already. I don't know what it is. I think the first time, that's right. Of course, the very first one, I think we sent some messages. Maybe when you set up the topic, it already has the messages. And then you can actually backlog size too. You can actually clear your log too. Essentially, the log messages, right, that are being transmitted don't get removed until you tell it. So if we do the remove of the backlog, and for example, right, let me show that to you. How do you do it? Over here, right? Pulsar, you will be using a Pulsar admin command and then all the parameters and everything. And then basically the command to use is namespaces. And the thing you want to do is clear backlog and then the topic name. So then you will clear the backlog. So let's go back. So backlog size, right? And there's a difference. And as we found out, because I helped this customer, not customer, partner, we built this proof of concept. So they've been running, constantly been running a job that it keeps filling up the backlog. So that's kind of not too good. And I need to try to figure out how we can actually clear the backlog, right? So there's got to be some other way. So I'll kind of tell you about how to do that. But in the meantime, it's a good news. We're able to then essentially start pumping messages. So likewise, right, we can also do another add prices for the sell side. Or actually, you know what, this one, we can write it one script to do to either one. So we can do that too. So maybe next time we can work on that. But for now, I think it looks like us prompting for input using command line client is working. We need to make it more dynamic is our goal. And also to dynamic in terms of one script file that you can prompt for, are you trying to enter prices for buy side, or are you going to enter prices for sell side? And then we dynamically let them enter as much as possible, and then end with an enter or something, right? It's something. So we make it a little bit more user friendly, and that's the UI part can come in, and we can design this UI GUI, small little GUI, simple GUI to also prompt for the input too, and then we will then fill up all of the topics. And so once we get that done next time, and then the following week, not next time, right? But basically next time we kind of hope to clear up all of these things, maybe still doing the command line. And then the following time is to work on actually the matching engine part, which is a bit more tricky because you need to figure out the set of prices, let's say within 2 minutes, right? I think we talked about 2 minutes, right? Is that right? Let's kind of go back to the pizza is making me hungry. Where is my Miro board? Miro, here we go. So the next time, 5 minutes. I think we decide on 5 minutes. And then basically we can do 5 minutes, and within that 5 minutes window, we're gonna have to not only pump in the data for the the prices, we need to also timestamp each of them. So then within each chunk of 5 minutes, we should be able to loop through all of it, and then both sides to kind of look for the closest match, right? So basically, buy and sell price difference has to be the lowest between the two, but we do need to do some sort of like quick kind of like comparison to figure out the smallest gap between the buy and the sell, and that would be the match. And then if it's the match, then we will print out the match, for like the set of things. So that should be kind of fun too. But of course, again, it is a toy engine, not meant to be for serious work. But the thing is, it serves as an experiment that we can play around with. So all right, then. Well, thank you so much, everybody. I think I'm already gone over time, 2 hours already, and it's the summertime. People, you are all enjoying life while I'm still talking about it. But I'm getting excited. It took me a while to get going, but finally get going. Now I don't want to stop. But guess what? I do need to get going. There's just too much to do. So with that, I want to thank you so much, guys, everybody, guys and girls, and everybody, right, coming today. And I want to invite you to continue coming, and hope you are having a good evening wherever you are, evening or daytime or afternoon wherever you are.